Welcome to the Irish Pagan School podcast. Your hosts are authors and co-founders of the Irish Pagan School here in County Waterford, Ireland, Laura O'Brien and Jon O'Sullivan. Fáilte.
Happy New Year. It's good to be back. Well, dag the Eve agus Fáilte. Hi, hello and welcome. Jon O'Sullivan, the Irish Pagan School here. And it is the start of the year. I will go and date it and say it's 2025 when I'm recording this. But for a lot of us, certain cycles and seasons influence our path and our spirituality and our progress. And so for most people who identify with an Irish pagan path, Samhain, the end of October, is the kind of end of their spiritual year. But that doesn't mean when you come around to January and there's the shift in the calendar year that there's not energy, intent, or focus to be worked with at that time. So Happy New Year, happy new journal, and filling it out and kind of getting ourselves sorted here at the Irish Pagan School, planning out the year of 2025. We have some changes that are going to be coming along, but for the most part, there's a lot of stuff that won't be changing. We're going to be maintaining and ensuring the same commitment to ethical teaching, to ethical practices, honor and honesty in our dealings, and promoting and supporting Native voices and Native teaching, and inclusivity in as every and any way as we can do it safely and securely for our community. So yeah, the more things change, the more certain things stay the same. We'll still be doing the Hangout second Saturday social sessions, which is the second Saturday of every month. We just open up a Zoom call and everyone just hangs out and has a good bit of banter, checks in with each other. It's a really, really great experience. A lot of people mark it on their calendar in advance and they have it as a highlight of their month to be able to check in because they might not have local community. They might have not have security or safety to be out and pagan in their area. So having this monthly space where they can pop in, even if they don't share themselves or engage, they still are around and connecting in shared space and shared community space with people who are pagan, Irish pagan interested, or just straight up sound. That's really one thing that we've seen over the years that we've been doing these sessions and these hangouts and catch ups and chats. Pretty much everyone is just sound and just wants to be around and to connect and to engage and share in other people's stories and lives and perspectives. So yeah, plans. This is what happens when we get to January. There's always the plan and the goal and the progress and the New Year's resolution and all that kind of stuff. I will hands up straight away say I suck at New Year's resolutions. Either I don't set a challenging enough resolution because I don't want to push myself out of my comfort zone, or I don't actually set a resolution because if I don't make a plan, then I can't fail at a plan. And that's a lot of the negative self-esteem issues that I am working on personally at the moment. But failing to plan is in a way planning to fail. If you don't have at least some insight, some perspective, if you don't take that time back from the grind, step away from whatever it is you're engaging with and think into the long term, think, well, what's it going to be over the next 12 months? Scary as that might be, it allows for you to say, okay, well, what can I control? What can't I control? And going back to those principles of, self-sovereignty, personal responsibility, accountability, what can I do for myself and what can I do for my community and what can I do for my spirituality, whichever it is, be it gods, guides, guardians, deities, ancestors, what can I commit to over the next time frame for that relationship and for that commitment? There is no easy answer. I'm not going to tell you like, oh, you have to do X, Y, and Z. You have to do X, Y, and Z. For me, I have, and I am laying out kind of data-based processes that will allow me to honor the ethos and the teaching and the guidance I gain from studying Dagda's stories and the embodiment I try to bring forward for my own life and for my family and my community, with what I learn from the Dagda work. So that is a personal commitment that I will do. But what that looks like is unique to me. So as we go along that through the year, I'll try, if I do come up with something, I will probably be sharing it along the way. But at this time of kind of goals and progress and like there can be a lot of pressure. It really, really can. Like, everyone's like, oh, I'm getting back to the gym, or oh, I'm gonna do this, or oh, 2025 is gonna be great, or 2025 is gonna be shit. And whichever way you believe it's gonna go, you're probably right, because to a certain degree, our focus defines our reality. What we pay attention to, what we look for, what we're aware of, defines what we're going to see more of and what we actually engage with throughout the year. So, as much as there might be very realistic fears for people around the world, and there's a lot of really shitty things happening and really horrible things happening, we do need to make sure we're also looking for the first buds of daffodils coming up, the first sprouts of flowers as the seasons begin to change and shift, because again, our focus helps define our reality. So, plans and goals define our path towards the progress we want to achieve. They don't define our identity. And I'll say that again to make sure I'm saying it right. The plans and like I'm laying out, this is the plan, this is the goal, this is, what I want to achieve in the next 12 months. It's great. It's very important, but that defines a progression plan, a pathway, a direction that you're going to move in. That doesn't define who you are as a person. Because and a lot of times when we invest our identity in the result of something, if we don't achieve that result, then our negative self-talks kick in, our self-esteem takes a hit, confidence takes it. I'm pointing at myself here, and I know I'm saying our because a lot of people share similar conversations with me, and they're like, this happens, I get a step back, and suddenly it's all gone to hell. Um, so it is about trying to separate that identity element from the plan and goal. If you don't have the plan and goal, you'll never actually make clear progress, or progress that you can look back at and say, oh, actually tick that box. I did get that done. I did score that dopamine hit because, I actually got that done. The neuroscience stuff I learned comes from my beloved Laura. I'm not one to read the neuroscience books, but they absolutely do. And they find it fascinating. And I benefit greatly from the conversations we have. But your identity is not tied in with your production. Your identity is not tied in with your result. Your identity is a whole multifaceted expression of your existence. So don't give yourself a hard time is really what I'm trying to say to that. Like, make the plan, but understand that the plan, the goals, the progression, the focus has to be not on the result. The focus needs to be on the action. I'm not going to, you know, lose 50 pounds like by the end of March, but if the action is I'm going to walk every day for 20 minutes, I may lose 20 pounds by the end of March. But my goal, my focus isn't on get that weight loss thing, or get that change in my shape, or get the X number of books read. The goal, the focus, again, what you can do, what you can invest in, put it on the action, put it on the function. So I'm going to walk. I'm going to take a 20-minute shoeling around, listen to an audiobook, and score some dopamine and tick off a book by listening to it and walking at the same time. Or I'm going to read. I'm actually going to sit down. I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to sip on that, and I'm going to read for a half an hour first thing in the morning to stimulate the brain. I'm going to dive more into these books and expose myself to the education that I need to do more of the work down the line. But I'm not resulted in, oh, my goal is to have read 15 books by the end of March. My goal is to just read for half an hour in the morning. And it is that shift in focus which allows for a more practical, achievable way of making these transformations, making these kind of changes, and getting something done that grows ourselves, that challenges ourselves, that stretches myself. Like if you say, John, you need to hike a hill or run a marathon, I'd be like, no, fuck it, I don't care about that. But in the morning, I got my runners on, I'll just walk straight out the door, take a stroll up and down the road, or hop in the car, go to the local park and visit some trees I'm becoming friends with, because I like trees. I'm a trees person. But it is about focusing on that action, not on the results. And the last thing, is it the last thing? Perfection. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Again, another thing I learned from my Laura. I am surrounded, you cannot see it here because the framing, with models, little kind of things that I enjoy as my hobby, building and painting these models. But at every single point with all of these models, I get to the point of like, it's not It's not perfect. It's not. And suddenly it stalls out, it stops, and I haven't picked up a paintbrush in a couple of weeks because the perfectionism, this idea that it needs to be a certain way, is actually stopping me from literally just picking up the paintbrush and doing some painting. So some is better than none, and progress is what we're looking for, not perfection. We're not looking to, oh yeah, I'm gonna jog down the hill and run up the hill to the shop every day. But no, I'll put my runners on and I'll go outside and I'll walk up and down the garden, or something manageable, some function or some action that, is something that can be done. Because then at the end of the day, you're like, well, you know, I took my walk today. I read my book today. I put paint on plastic today, or whatever it is that you're looking to focus on. Like I did my guided meditation. I wrote and described a new prayer to the Dagda to see how that works. I wrote poetry based on my stories or my connection. Like there's any number of things you can focus on as a goal towards progressing or towards changing and growing. But don't focus on the result, focus on the action, and just do it. Just actually do something about it, because it's never going to be perfect, but it will never exist if you do nothing. Um, oh yeah, there is one more thing. I took notes, folks. It's been a while since I've sat down and done these videos, so I actually took notes. Um, what we do today either gains or costs us time in the future. I am a gentleman of a certain age at this point. There are people in my family who believe I am an ageless entity and never want to know my date of birth or my actual age, so I'm never going to say it anymore because I find that entertaining. But I'm aware of the fact that what I do today is either going to gain me time at the other end of the story, towards the end of the saga, or it's going to cost me time towards the end of the saga. And so the motivation, like, oh, well, get out and walk every day. I don't want it. It's cold outside. It's wet outside. We had snow last night here, which in Waterford was quite surprising and quite pleasant. But it does mean it's like, I don't want to walk in the snow. But again, the function of walk being physical health impacting the long-term goals of who I'm going to be a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades from now. So what I do now today can either gain me more time in the future or cost me more time in the future. And so having that slightly longer perspective. I'm a day-to-day kind of guy. I really, really am. But learning from my Laura and talking about the strategy planning, future vision person in our relationship, the idea that like I want more. I want more of the time that I can get. I want longer and longer to be around my partner, to be around my family, to see my grandkids grow up. I want that time. And so if I want that time enough, then I need to make sure runners go on and I take a walk. So um this has been a bit of an insight and a perspective, really, a bit of a ramble, I'll be honest. But I just really wanted to remind and to connect with you all again to say, whenever these moments of change happen, be it like the end of the year, the pagan year comes Samhain, or seasons or sacred cycle years, or if it's a calendar year, it is about the intention and the energy that we bring to that moment and what we choose to do from there. If you don't choose to do something, then how can you ever acknowledge that something has happened? But again, just because you make a plan doesn't have to mean that that's who you are and only who you are. So yeah, give yourself grace, give yourself space, look after yourself. You are a unique expression of humanity in this world and this crazy universal existence that we all share in. So, love and honor that for what it is. And, challenge yourself, do a little bit more, define what progress looks like for you. And then don't focus on the result, focus on just the thing you can do. Just do the thing you can do. And once that's done, just do the next thing. Doesn't have to be I achieve all of these things. It's like, no, I'm gonna finish my coffee, have a conversation with people. After that, I'm gonna upload the video, then I'm gonna put on some laundry. I could plan out my entire day by half an hour increments, or I could lay, okay, well, what is the next thing? What is the next thing that's gonna push my goal forward, push my relationship with my deity, my family, my community forward, and just do that next thing. So until next time, look after yourself, take care as ever. Go to irishpagan.school/free for over a year's worth of free resources. Get onto the mailing list and, watch out for the emails. We're going to be notifying you about what changes are coming up and what more myself and my partner Laura can be doing to be available and turn up for the Irish Pagan School. So until next time, look after yourself and slán. Goodbye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a positive review in your podcast listener. Then head over to irishpaganschool.com and enroll in one of our free or paid courses. Slán go fóill, and we will see you next time.